poor listening skills can absolutely kill relationships. And many times, it can kill a marriage.
You know, the idea that you can just get by in a relationship just by being there physically, but not emotionally through caring and thoughtful listening is just fraught with disaster.
Now, while divorce rates in the U.S. are down a bit over the last 10 years, gray divorce, that's people over 65, is up dramatically.
And you know, there can be many reasons why people get divorced.
Sure.
You know, we've seen it in our community and with our friends, but the number one reason is poor communication. As a matter of fact, in a recent survey of 100 marriage counselors, 65% of them 65% of them cite poor communication as the number one reason for divorce. Right behind that, it's the couple's inability to resolve conflict, which lends itself to communication.
Well, you know, interesting thing is, we're good then, because our communication skills are perfect, right? We're not
Should
getting
have seen
divorced.
this morning.
We're not getting divorced because of that.
No.
But this survey goes on to say, and they talk about men. So men cite that nagging and complaining as the top communication problem in their marriage.
And a woman's top complaint is that their spouse just doesn't validate their opinions or their feelings enough. And I know sometimes we talk about that.
We do.
So now we know what we can do. One thing for sure is to work on your listening skills.
So there's an organization called the International Association of Listening.
Which we were surprised that
were.
there was an organization for that.
But it's legit, and they've been around since 1979. The first thing you want to know, the first thing that we learned, is that how quickly we speak. Now, men speak at an average of about 125 words per minute.
And women actually speak faster. My theory, personal theory, is it's because they have to get more words in order for people to listen. But women actually speak at 145 words per minute. And again, they feel pressure. I know I did in my career, sometimes even in our house, to get my words out, get my expressions out. So from my experience, pretty true. Women speak quicker.
Quicker, or, yeah, they do speak quicker.
More words per minute.
More words per minute. But here's another interesting fact, is that people listen at about 400 words per minute. Now, our first thought was, this is good. There's plenty of capacity to listen. But here's the thing. Because people speak at 125 or 145 word per minute, and we can listen at 400, sometimes it sounds like they're taking forever to get the words out. And frankly, that's why on podcasts and audiobooks, there's a button that you can speed it up to 2 times or 3 times, because you can actually hear quicker.
You know, it's funny. You thought that was the most interesting fact that we got out of this research, but I actually thought the most interesting thing was that our brains can actually think at 900 to 1200 words per minute. So think about that for a minute. You're sitting and listening to your spouse, your partner, your child, your friend. They're speaking at, 125 or 145 words per minute. And your brain can actually digest it, 8 or 9 times that.
Yeah, and I think that what that says, or what that means to me, is, in your mind, they're speaking slow. They're speaking at 140. Right. I can hear at 400. My brain's going 900 to 1200. I've lost the ability to pay attention, and I'm thinking, will you please get to the point? And that's just not fair. In the end, we're really not listening well, for sure.
Right.
So that's kind of good for us to know that.
Yeah, and those are kind of interesting facts and figures for you to write down and kind of have on hand, because it does put you in check. And it happens to us all the time. So we want to share with you what we've learned to be better listeners.
Right. The first one?
The first one is to listen for content.
What do you mean by that?
See that? He's not listening. So that's like your facts and your figures, kind of, everything that's meaningful about the conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the basic core of listening. What are they saying? But the content, if it's taken the person a long time to get to where you want to go, you've really got to just shut down and pay attention and let your mind really focus.
And it depends on who the person is, right? I'm more direct and I'm more about facts and figures and getting to the point.
Right.
You tend to kind of scatter about with point number 2, which is listen for context.
Context. So that's like patterns,
Right.
references, timing. What are some external factors that might be taking place? Really understand what the person is saying and perhaps why.
And what's around it, what feelings or emotions are around it for the context. And the next thing is to listen for what's unsaid.
Right.
Help the person find the words in a respectful and patient way.
Right. The sometimes when we're talking to each other, there's really something else going on, and maybe we just don't want to say it. But we know each other well enough to know, what's really going on? And it takes patience, it takes kindness, and it takes caring.
Take some
to
good
really,
questioning too,
yeah,
right?
to listen to what's really going on and help the person find the words. So that's a kind thing to do. If Jody's beating around the bush and she's not really getting to the point, maybe help her with some words.
And Jody's not a beat around the bush person, so
No,
it's usually
yeah,
the other way
yeah.
around.
So the fifth one is listen for the true meaning. What did you really mean by that?
And that's a good question, because a lot of people throw out, especially if there's emotion in the context, they throw out, phrases or catchphrases or sound bites, and really getting to the meaning really makes some good sense. And then, there's patience. What
do you mean by that?
I know that Mark struggles with that sometimes, and I do sometimes as well. But, it's really kind to be patient, especially if someone has a long road to get to their exact point.
It's true. The idea of patience, and we're already up to 7 ways to listen better. So that's a lot to think about. But I think patience is really, really important. There's many times that I'm in a hurry and Jody's just hitting me with, doesn't even say I need to talk to you for a minute, just hits me with a question. I just need to be better, and I work at this to just stop what I'm doing, because it doesn't matter what I'm doing, because Jody, in one of our other videos, we talked about bids and volleys. Jody's putting forward a conversation bid. She wants to talk to me. So I need to slow down and be patient. And sometimes that's hard.
And sometimes, it's not just listening with, your ears or your headspace, really. It's listening with your whole body. It's
Yeah,
leaning
this is a good
in.
one, right? What? Yep. Well, excuse me. What is it you want to say to me? So you got to open up and relax, right?
Right. You have to really lean in and think, and, even putting your hand to your head, or, kind of, being inquisitive with your body language is important.
Yeah, and whole body, I think your mouth too, when Jody's talking to me about something, and it's not that I know it's going to be a long story, but it's going to be a long story because she's telling something about one of her kids or something that happened, or she was coaching somebody. I've got to, throughout the process of Jody speaking, nod my head like Jody said, but also verbally get involved. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Oh, wow. To acknowledge the fact that I am listening.
Right. And then, it's also important to ask those open-ended questions when someone is really telling you something important. And, we've done some work around appreciative inquiry, which is a great, psychology term that we've used for when you're asking open-ended questions in order to get more from the person who's speaking.
Yeah, and you studied this when you took that course down at UPenn.
Right.
What was it?
Applied positive psychology.
Applied positive psychology. So when we talk about this and we did our research on it, you actually had some really good background on this. But it's just going deeper.
Right.
It's not. It's appreciative inquiry. It's asking kind, thoughtful, appreciative questions to get people to get your partner to really tell you what's going on.
And, to help you understand this better, we boiled all that down into 2 really key questions. There's all the list of what we went through, and we encourage you to listen again and pick out the 2 or 3 or maybe all of them that really resonate with you. But really, these 2 questions are important for you to think about. So the first one is, who is the best listener that you know?
Well, clearly I'm the best listener that you know.
Not even close.
What do you mean?
Not even close.
I am.
Not doing this.
But when we did this, I actually came up with one of my children. And because he's a coach and he practices appreciative inquiry. He really does listen. He really does ask me questions to get to the root of what it is that's on my mind. And I really so appreciate that technique when it's used on me. So he's one of the people that actually listens to me the best.
Yeah,
Who
I
is
would-
it
I would
for you?
agree.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I have a really good friend that I see once a month for lunch, and she's just an incredible listener. She also remembers things from a prior conversation and brings it back in an inquisitive way, follows up, follows through, and she's just really a fantastic listener.
And doesn't it feel great when you're with a good listener?
Yeah, it
Doesn't
really
it feel
does.
great when you and I are chatting and I'm really listening and what's the matter?
Yeah, so the second
I'll
question.
do the second question.
No.
No. What do you mean? All right, go ahead.
The second question that we would challenge you with is, would anyone describe you as a good listener?
And
Does everyone see the reason why I didn't let Mark ask that
what
question?
do you mean? So there are
Would
people.
anyone describe
Sure,
you?
they would. Absolutely.
Describe
They-
you.
Yes.
Oh,
What about you?
100%.
Well, the reason for these two questions is to really to get you to think a little bit about yourself as a good listener.
Right.
And I believe all of us can always learn to be better listeners. And that's why we wanted to do this video today to help you work on your listening skills.
And neither one of us really gets it right
No.
all the time. And you know that feeling when you're not getting it right. But hopefully these will give you a couple of elements of course correction in the moment,
Right.
or even
And
reflectively.
one of the things that we do, we have a rule of engagement, so to speak. If it's really something important, we preface the conversation with, I have something really important to talk to you about. Is now a good time? And many times you say, no, it isn't. And then I have to email you or text you to get on your calendar. No?
No.
But it is important to do that because if
Right.
it is really meaningful, you want the other person's full attention.
It also gives the other person a chance to drop their technology, clear
Sure.
some space in their brain,
Sure.
and actually be really attentive.
Yeah.
So listen, here's what we want you to do. Think about the things we talked about today and then share what you've learned with your partner or a friend. Watch this again together and then practice what's
Yeah.
in there.
And if you do us a favor, hit the like button if you liked it, but subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications on all our upcoming videos that come out weekly.
And finally, join our free Facebook community. The link is in the notes below.
Thanks for listening, and we look forward to being with you again next time. Bye.
Bye.